morning, class. How we doing?
Good.
Good. Everybody great? How was Wednesday? Tuesday. I'm sorry. How was Tuesday? I missed you guys on Tuesday. How was everybody's Tuesday?
Good.
It was cool? So today we're going to be talking about mise en place. It's something that we've been practicing sometime. We talk about it. And we try to be professional about it. The bell ringer today is define mise en place and list the 5 steps. So I'm going to ask you guys, who's able to define mise en place? Let me pick someone. Prentice. Mise en place. Speak up for me, sir.
Everything in its place.
Everything in its place. Would you all agree that that's what mise en place means? So as far, no. Tanya said no. So what do you think it means, Tanya? Does it go a little bit deeper than that? It does.
I think it's the gathering of all ingredients and materials in a recipe.
All ingredients and materials and a recipe. Okay? Tanya's onto something there. That's a good answer, Tanya. They were both great answers, PJ and Tanya. How about this one? How about listing the 5 steps for mise en place? When you entered the class today, I gave you a recipe. And as you look at the recipe, who in here can tell me or write out on your recipe the steps of mise en place for that recipe? Based on what Tanya just said and how she answered me and PJ, what would be the steps? So, that's what we're going to talk about today. This is something I really need you guys to focus on. This is going to be your objective today. I need you guys to demonstrate, discuss, recall, evaluate the knowledge of basic mise en place principles. So when we're done and we go in the kitchen in about 20 minutes, this is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to look for you guys to demonstrate, discuss with me, recall it, and then we're going to evaluate your knowledge. Then I want you to identify, formulate, review, and describe the 5 general steps used in planning mise en place. So I also asked you, as you were looking at that, can anybody name 2, maybe 3 of the 5 steps? Nicholas.
Step 1 is read the recipe all the way through.
Step 1. That's a good answer, Nicholas. Read the recipe all the way through. That is one of them. We're going to be able to put them all in order today. Gabby, do you know one of them? Have your materials ready. So we need materials. So when we say materials, are we just talking about, what are we talking about when we say materials? Decoria?
Food, spices, bowls,
Okay. So where do you get that information from, what you need? By looking at the recipe. Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to watch a video real quick. Got a video for you guys.
Hello, I'm Chef Marcus Burek. Today we're going to talk
As you
about
watch this video, I want you to pay attention what he
which
says
is a
about
French
mise en
term which
place.
literally means setting in place. Mise en place is when you want to have everything together. If you're making a tropical fruit salad, you want to make sure that you chop up all your fruits. Everything that's going to go in that salad, make sure it's all chopped. It saves time with your cooking. Mise en place is not just a statement, but it is a state of mind. You need to have a clear head when you're cooking. Make sure that everything is in place inside your head, which I tell all my chefs all the time. Make sure that you're ready to start cooking. Make sure you have a checklist in your head of what you're going to need to prepare and how you're going to do it. This is a very simple statement, but one of the most important things that you'll need to know in a kitchen.
Okay. My PowerPoint, I labeled it mise en place, the beginning to a great end. Anybody know why I titled it that? You take a guess, Odette.
If you have all your things correctly, your dish is going to come out.
If we have everything in place beforehand, that means our dish is going to come out exactly how we want it. Okay? Everybody should have a vision. The reason I picked that particular video clip to show you is we talked about just recently, you guys said we need all of our materials together. We need everything together. Our food, our pots, our pans. If I'm making an omelet, I need my vegetables, I need my eggs, my oil, I need all those different things. But there's one thing that he said is very important. He said it's a mental gathering as well. That I have to have my mind together and I have to be together in itself. So, I want to ask this question. And I'm looking for a volunteer this time. I don't want to just point anybody out. But if preparing to cook is important as cooking itself, how are both mental and physical preparation essential components of success in a professional environment? So how prepare myself physically and mentally, how important is that to me being professional in the kitchen? Looks like Tanya really wants to answer that question. So, Nicholas, you want to take a shot at that one?
To be physically and mentally prepared in the kitchen, your attitude could conflict with what you're doing in the kitchen itself. You could easily snap at someone if you're angry. You could end up injuring someone, and you need to watch yourself in the kitchen during that time because it's.
It's okay.
The physical prepared part is if you are not ready to do the job, you could end up injuring not only yourself but others. You could end up cutting yourself. You could end up doing one step wrong and end up messing up your dish.
I think you guys ought to give Nicholas a hand. That was a great demonstration. Nick is exactly right. You have to be ready for both physically and mentally. And what that means is that you got to get some rest. Most of the time, most people that injure themselves have not rested. They have not taken the time to get themselves together. So there's a picture of what I would like for mise en place to look like. So when's the next time we're going to cook a dish in here? Anybody know? When's our next big cook day?
Friday.
Friday. All right. So, knowing that Friday is our next big cook day, and we're getting ready to prepare breakfast for a lot of people, one of the first steps in getting ready for Friday is getting organization together. That's one of the first steps in mise en place. But in this, the definition is in a professional cooking, proper planning of equipment and ingredients for food preparation and assembly station. Okay? Because there's two problems that face the cook in everybody's kitchen. Okay? The first problem is there's too much work to do. Okay? Nobody can do all the work in the last minute. What would it be like Friday if we showed up and we wanted to do an omelet with bell peppers, potatoes, and onions, and we decided to slice the bell peppers, potatoes, and onions at that moment that we wanted to make the omelet? How many omelets do you guys think we can make in an hour? If we did each one individually. 15? Let's think one person. I think it'd be less than that. Because each one you got to dice the onion, dice the bell pepper, dice the potato, dice up the bacon. So, part of mise en place is planning ahead. Part of mise en place is preparing ahead. And I like to say proper planning prevents poor performance, okay? You guys might want to write that down. Proper planning prevents poor performance. What is that, 4 P's? Proper planning prevents poor, that's, man, I like you, man. Prentice, you all right. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So, we want to plan properly. So Monday, when you guys came in, what was the first thing I had you do? I said, we need a grocery list, right? So today, what I'm going to have you do, after we do our mise en place, we're going to start a prep list, okay? And so we're going to start preparing the things that we need for Friday, okay? That will be part of our mise en place. So the 5 steps of mise en place. I want you to open up your books to page 302. Open up your foundation book. We're going to talk about it. And on page 302 and 303, it talks about planning ahead. It talks about getting ahead. Okay? So, everybody's got to let me know by waving your hand. I see Gabby's still working on the book. Let me ask you guys this. Tanya, how does mise en place fit into something like doing your homework? How could you compare that to your homework?
Compared to my homework.
Yeah. You're a college student. So what steps in mise en place would you use as far as getting ready for a test, getting ready for those assignments that you get at TCC, assignments you get in school? How could you use mise en place for that?
Proper organization.
Okay.
Organizing all my materials before I do my homework.
All right. What else? Nothing? Anybody want to add into that? Decoria, can you add into that? You're getting ready to go to the military. So how can you use mise en place to get ready to do what you're going to do for the rest of your life? That's good. That's good. That's awesome. I'm making sure you're physically and mentally fit. So that's the one thing I'm asking you guys. As you prepare to come to culinary arts, day in and day out, mentally and physically be prepared to work. Okay? Be prepared to read the book. Be prepared to study. So, 5 steps of mise en place. Okay? Now, I like what the book says when it says in planning ahead, but I'm going to give them to you, and these are the order that I want you guys to kind of practice these as we go in the kitchen. Now, someone said the first thing we want to do is we want to read our prep list, right? We want to read out our menu. And that's good. That's really good. But what have we been studying? We've been studying what lately? HACCP. So how does HACCP, how does ServSafe essentials and ServSafe principles fit into mise en place? Odette, how does ServSafe fit into mise en place? Somebody help her out. Prince, how do you think? Can you explain to me how ServSafe will fit into mise en place? Okay, that's good. So what would be the first thing that I do every day if I'm going to go in the kitchen and cook and I'm practicing ServSafe essentials and ServSafe practices? What's the first thing I want to do? I want to do what? Wash my hands. So first thing, one of the first steps in mise en place is that I mise en place myself by washing my hands. What's the next thing we do? That we do every day. We do it in the kitchen. Before we can prep anything, what do we have to do? I can't hear you guys. Clean and sanitize. Clean and sanitize what? Our prep area. So the number one thing in mise en place is going to be we mise en place our kitchen. And how do we do that? Nicholas.
Prep surfaces, right?
That's right. We prep our prep surfaces by cleaning.
Cleaning and sanitizing them.
So somebody give me the order, please. What order do we clean them in? Thank you. We wash, rinse, sanitize. So step 1, we clean and mise en place the kitchen. That's the first thing. Because you can't go in the kitchen and cook if the kitchen hasn't been sanitized. And why do we do that? Okay, so number 3. The third thing that we do is we assemble our ingredients. Okay? So, in just a little while, we're going to go back in the kitchen. We're going to do pancakes. We're going to do gravy. We're going to do pancakes. But before we go, I'm going to ask that you guys break off in groups and you're gonna write out everything that you need, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna assemble. We're gonna do these just in order. We're gonna mise en place our kitchen. We're gonna read our recipe. Then we're going to assemble our ingredients, and then we'll wash, trim, cut, measure all ingredients. That's the fourth thing. So whatever you need for your recipe, once you get them together, the fourth thing is you assemble them all, you measure them out, and then I'm going to ask you to prepare the equipment and the dish. Okay? So some of you will be doing pancakes. Some of you, yes, sir. Right. Assemble the ingredients. Like get together what you need. Don't measure them out. Okay? Measure your ingredients is the next step. So first thing you want to do is you want to gather everything you need. So for instance, I know I'm making an omelet here. So everything I need is here. I can get it all out on the table. The next thing I can do after that is I can measure them out. So if I know I need flour, I'm going to pull the flour over. If I need sugar, I'm going to pull the sugar bin over. If I need baking soda or baking powder, which is in your recipe, and milk, buttermilk, sugar, I'm going to put all that in the area that I'm going to work in. And then I want to measure it out. I don't want to measure one ingredient and then run across the kitchen and measure another ingredient. And come back and then run over here, measure another ingredient, and then run back over here. Because the reason why we do one of the reasons why we do mise en place is to cut down on time. So if I gather everything together, I can measure it just like here. I'm going to make an omelet at some point in time. What we did is we went back and we got everything out and we measured it out. And now it's right here. So it's going to be easier for me to do. Another reason why you want to get everything in the general area is because how many times have you made an item and you're missing an ingredient? So if I'm making pancakes and I leave out the baking soda, well, I won't know that I left the baking soda out until it's on the griddle and it doesn't rise. And now I got this flat, hard pancake that doesn't taste good. Okay, so you want to have everything in front of you. Now, are there any questions before we go in the back?
No.
Yes.
Tanya has a question.
In my previous job, there weren't people that did mise en place. So why are there some restaurants that do mise en place but others don't?
That's a good question. And I can answer it by saying this. What is the quality of food like in those restaurants? So the restaurants that do mise en place, at most times they'll have a better quality of food and their service is a lot faster and it's more consistent. The restaurants that don't do mise en place, you got a lot of guys in the back that are just flying by the seat of their pants and they're just doing whatever and throwing things into the dishes. So it helps in speed of service, speed of the dishes, and all those cooking principles. And you'll see when we go back there. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What are some hampers or hindrances to proper mise en place? What do you see could be a hindrance to proper mise en place? Anyone? Okay. I want you to write that question down. What are some hindrances to proper mise en place? And as we get started, what I'm going to ask for you to do is look for things or obstacles to proper mise en place. So by the end of the day, when we get ready to leave here, I'm going to ask that question again. Okay? And that will actually be our ticket out the door today. What are hindrances to proper mise en place? Okay? And if you think back, it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be with the cleaning, it could be with my uniform, it could be not having surf safe solution. So I want you guys to look around in the kitchen today as you get ready to prepare your dishes and tell me when we leave what are some hindrances to proper mise en place. Okay? So that's going to be it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work on listing out those things, and then we're going to go in the back. We're going to do the 5 steps. So make sure you have the 5 steps written down. If you don't, see me. And I'm going to expect